Hi everyone. Thank you for coming. Thank you so much. So, in this event, we're collaborating with Learn Night, and both of us, we are both a part of a student-led organization from the Faculty of Agriculture called KURIOUS. So mainly, we just help international students, like accommodating them to move into the life in Japan and ease them way through the process of living in Japan. We also do events that bridge. Here you go. Oops, sorry. Here. So we also act as a bridge between the Japanese students that are existing in the Faculty of Agriculture, or even outside the Faculty of Agriculture, we're open, to the international students, and as well the alumni and the staff members in agriculture. So we're just trying to become the bridge between all the parties that exist in the university.
Yeah. In Japanese, I guess you would call us the Moribashi, Kakehashi, or between pretty much everybody who's interested in joining our events or just chill in general. And we do a lot of things. Some of the stuff that we do includes this little thing called Curious Desk. I guess in Japanese we can also kind of call it as a nandemo soudan center. So you wanna talk to us about life, you can come and talk to us about life. If you need help with filling out your paperwork in Japanese, some of our staff can do it. Some. And if you like for the Japanese students, if they want some ryugaku support, if they want to know more about studying abroad, then we may or may not be able to help. It really depends on who's working specifically on that day, because some of us are here as a foreign student, so this entire experience of us going to Kyushu University is the ryugaku. So but we pretty much do this every Friday from 12 to 1 during lunchtime. So if you want to swing by, just say hi. Please feel free to join us.
And these are our past events that we've been doing for the past maybe 1.5 years. So we have movie nights. We also I don't know if you guys know, but we have a hiking trail behind the agriculture area. So we did a tour with one of the experts from the agriculture faculty. Unfortunately, I couldn't come that day, and I really wanted to come because it would be nice to have someone to tell me what this is, what tree that is. So we have a lot of events that are related to nature and things like that, because we're from the agriculture department. And these two right here is pictures of our welcome events and welcome parties. So we're open to anyone who wants to come, but it is in the agriculture building, so you guys have to hike up to West 5. But you can enjoy the food and talk to people. We both Japanese people and non-Japanese people come and mingle. So, and the movie night, yes. The movie night, usually there's a theme that we do based on the seasons maybe, because now it's summer, we have to think about something.
Yeah, now it's summer. Everyone has exams. So
yeah. That's true. Mm-hmm. And recently we also been having English English meetups with the Japanese students. So we just tell them that, we're gonna have this meetup in the agriculture cafeteria during lunchtime. We just give them out a topic, and then we just meet new people and just help them speak English, and also for the international students, introduce them to the Japanese people. So it's kind of a mutual benefit, and that's been really popular lately. So yeah, I think this is our prospects.
Yeah. So anyways, follow us on Instagram.
Yes, we have an Instagram page where we put out
our events, the promotional stuff, maybe even some student takeovers, where you can see what it's like in Kyushu University through the eyes of the student, or we may or may not put up like, fun and interesting information.
Yeah, right.
So, just useful information in general, or like something more casual, like where you should go for the season. Or I don't know if it's posted already or not, but I think one of our members will be posting a guide on the Hanabi festival, like Hanabi Taikai, all around Fukuoka. But so, like, I think from what I saw, there's like going to be information about one in Kita Kyushu in Mojiko, and there's also going to be one in Izuka. So, all kinds of information, just like fun stuff. Yeah. So that's about it for.
And we're open for DMs as well. If you guys have issues regarding like, we need help translating something, or like, we need help just consulting about life in general.
Yeah, or about school. So it's just a whole lot of stuff. We're pretty much open, and because a lot of our staff are from the different grades, so we have staff from the undergraduate program, staff from the master's program, staff from the doctorate program as well. So really, it's a non-negotiable session. So you can just message us, and maybe we'll be able to find someone who can work with your specific problems. That's
Thank you
pretty much all for.
I will now give the stage to Abri.
Thank you.
Please welcome Abri with the presentation title, Beginning of the End, Recognizing the Signs Through Behavioral Changes. And you're a doctoral student? Okay, at Kyushu University. Take it away.
Thanks for the introduction, Raymond. So, the end. That's all for my presentation. Thank you for coming, everybody. Have a great day. Okay, well, not really. So, as Raymond has introduced, my topic is about the beginning of the end, which is kind of fitting. I'm the first presenter, right? The beginning of the end. But you know what else is also kind of the beginning of the end? That's right, Anime Beach episodes. And Anime Beach episodes. So what is really the beginning of the end with Anime Beach episodes? It's because it's a filler episode where, you need to pad it out to fill the 12 episode quota in an anime season. But you kind of need to, kind of have a good transition between the preposition and the final battle. So usually they put in the beginning of the end with a beach episode. Now, what does the beach episode and the beginning of the end, kind of like the end, have in common? That is right, marine environmental damage. Anyways, yes, welcome to my presentation, the beginning of the end, recognizing the signs through behavioral changes of fish. I have to mention this because we have Jan Sensei here. He is studying human behavior, so this is a little different from what you're used to in particular. Okay, so I'm going to start by introducing you guys to my recent hyperfixation, which is a game called Another Crab's Treasure. Now, for the gamers out here, it's also quite known as Crab Souls, so because it is very tightly connected to the Souls-like genre, the torturous, hard, difficult combat system with janky controls. Now, we start the game as Krill, this cute little hermit crab, whose house got repossessed due to tax evasion. He doesn't know what taxes are. And basically, because of this, he has to move out from his comfortable tide pool to go into the deep ocean, which is, as we know, the ocean is dark and scary and has a lot of violence, apparently. And one of the things that I really like about this game is the environmental storytelling, because I don't know if you can see it through this, but there are little particles. Yep, that's right. Those are microplastics. That's the new currency of the ocean. And they introduce it pretty fast, that microplastic is used to level up, and it's also used as the currency of the game. As you can see from what the loan shark is saying in this picture. Yes, that's the loan shark. That's the IRS of this game. He says the oceans move to the trash standard, okay? And so, it's a very kind of like dark comedy kind of thing with environmental storytelling. And okay, this is kind of dark. I didn't expect the projector to be this dark, but basically what you will see here is that the crabs and all the residents of the ocean, they use trash as pretty much everything. They use trash as clothes, they use trash as their homes, and all this stuff. And what's really bad about this, and they kind of show it to you pretty early on, is that there's a change in behavior that you can observe. So first, you have this crab. She's the duchess of one of the areas in the game, and she's very vain. She's very like vanity focused. She wants to make her place like beautiful, see, even more gorgeous than the coral reefs, right? But later on, and this is kind of obvious if you're used to the genre, she ended up becoming a boss fight over here. So, and this is the screen you would see when you die. She would scream like, "Can't you see how worthless this all is?" So now, how does this relate to real life? Okay, so it's not as cool in real life. You don't really hear boss music when you get polluted. You don't, yes, there's like a change in behavior, but really, there's no boss music, there's no HP bar. You're not gonna see that there. So, but it is about equally as depressing because first, you will have pollutants and microplastics coming in from the land to the waters. This slide was made by my lab mate, Kasumi Komatsu. She couldn't join us here today, but I am also recording this and putting this on YouTube so she can watch it. So her study, along with the other studies that I'm going to, some other study that I'm going to introduce here, is about diazepam, which for those of you in the know, is an anti-anxiety drug. It has been detected in the environment, and it is known to affect medaka behavior. So it affects like their predator evasion and sociability, which I will talk about later. But one thing about like outflows of chemicals in water, it's not exactly new. And funny enough, actually, when I was making my slide, I saw this in the news. So yeah, apparently sharks are testing positive for cocaine. So, you know, it's not a good look, you know. I mean,
looks like it's having a great time.
Exactly. And, you know, I mean, it could be having a great time, but, well, we don't know what is going to be the problem with, like, long-term exposure to cocaine for the shark, right? Yeah. And there's also, like, a bit of other problems in the ocean. So this is my actual study, which is about the effects of harmful algal blooms, or HABs, on fish. So harmful algae, they kind of happen as a natural phenomenon, but due to climate change, it has been seeing like increasing occurrences. And it kills fish and shellfish. They don't really discriminate. Hey, equality, yay. But also it has been costing quite a lot of damage. So in Fukuoka, the last HAB event happened, or like the big HAB event happened in 2015, and it costed the prefecture around 3.65 million yen. So it is a big loss for the sector, and it caused fish for like deaths for fish in the agriculture sector and in the in aquaculture sector and for like natural fish. So it's bad, but the exposure specifically affects like the medaka behavior, as I will show you through this video. It's very short, and I am trying to get it to play. Yes. So for those of you who are able to observe the difference in behavior, one of the more like apparent ones would be the surfacing behavior, and also that it was swimming kind of faster. It doesn't really show here, but essentially what we can see in like the group setting mostly is that there's a change in shoaling behavior. So medaka fish, they shoal, they like to move in groups, but because of this, they were kind of just focusing on their own survival. So they start like panicking, they start going away, and well, some of it just dies. So that's why this little fish here is dead, or at least that's what I'm trying to show, right? But there's also a change in the swimming speed. Like, they would swim faster, but most of it is likely due to like hypoxia. It's like they can't breathe, so they panic. And then they start swimming all around. They swim up, they swim downwards. And especially for like the swimming depth, they tend to have like a surfacing behavior because usually the surface is closer to the atmosphere and it would have a higher like oxygen level compared to like down below. And these are the changes that you can see from them close to dying or almost dead, right? And so what this means is that fish behavior, we can use this as like a parameter for early damage mitigation strategy before the fish dies. And it's in my paper. Please read my paper. And also, I want to point out the importance of fish behavior in nature. So first, I will introduce you to this little concept called the ecological death. So what is the ecological death? It's essentially pre-death, so the beginning of the end, as I have mentioned. Essentially, it's the kind of death where you're not really dead, but in terms of like from behavior, histology, physiology, and biochemistry, you're pretty much essentially considered dead because you can't really function as you would normally, in a sense. So in the situation that I just introduced, there's a change in their histology because there's like damage from being exposed to the harmful algae. And in my paper, I also displayed that there is a change. So the top part is the control group, or like the unexposed group. That's the normal. That's like the the ideal version of the gills. And
Gills. Okay.
yeah, gills. Yes, gills. And over here, down here, is what happened to the gills when it's exposed to the plankton, like the algae. It swells up because of the swelling. It kind of prevents oxygen transfer from happening, or at least like there's a decrease in the surface area. So, less surface area, less intake of oxygen. That's what is expected to be the cause of these behavioral changes. But also, there's another link with pollution and ecological death. So as I've introduced earlier, diazepam and microplastics alters Medaka social behavior. So this is my sensei's paper. He is not here with us today, but I'm also recording it so he can watch it. So hello, Takai sensei. And I will also be talking about his other paper, which is about their response towards predator fish. And so this is the setup that he used in his experiment. So he split two groups of Medaka. One is just the normal Medaka fish swimming normally, and the other one is the test Medaka, being that are usually it is the one that's being treated. And he put a limit on what is called the shoal area, because that's the area where the fish can see the other fish. And basically, this is what he found out. So in a normal situation where the fish isn't busy being polluted, it would mostly stick to the shoaling area where it's closer to the other fish. But when it is exposed to microplastics, in this case they use polystyrene microplastics, it would start wandering around a lot more. But when it's in the recovery period, aka when it's put in clean water again, it would start getting closer back to the shoaling area. But what's interesting is that once it gets exposed to diazepam, they kind of have a bit more of an exploratory behavior. So they don't stick to their shoal, they don't stick to their group as much. And as you can see, it gets even more exploratory in the high concentration one. So this is the low concentration. This is a high concentration of diazepam. And when it is co-exposed to both diazepam and microplastic, it gives out this result. So there's a higher tendency to break away from the shoals in the exposed Medaka. So I would also, so essentially, this is how I would matomeru this thing. So usually, he would be like chilling with the friends. But under diazepam and or microplastic influence, they're like, oh, he's going away and just exploring and stuff. But interestingly enough, there's also a change in predator risk aversion behavior. So in this other study, my sensei used a picture of a fish because it is more ethically okay to not expose fish directly to danger in these kinds of tests. And you can check the details in the paper, but basically, even with just a picture of the fish, they're able to recognize that that's a predator. And so they have this setup where in the first 5 minutes, they just let the fish roam around. But then in the last 5 minutes, they start showing a picture of the predator fish. And this is the kugiri, the way they divided the area. And the predator fish picture that they used is a picture of donko fish. I don't know the English name, I just know that it's called donko fish. And it is a Medica's natural predator. So as I've explained, just a picture. So they would recognize that this is a predator fish. However, in this situation, my sensei, he measured the time it took for the fish to first enter the image area, as we've seen, so to enter this area. How long does it take for them to go there? For some fish, it took up to 300 seconds, so up to 5 minutes before they show up to the area. Some of them, it didn't take them a lot of time. But in general, for the fish that were exposed to higher levels or higher concentrations of diazepam, it would take them lower, like shorter and shorter for them to come in and go into the image area. So they take less time to consider approaching the impending danger. So to sum it up, really, it's like usually they would just be like, oh, okay, yeah, no, we're not going there. We're not dying today. Not today, buddy. But once it's exposed to diazepam, yeah, anyways, it's jackass, let's go. We're out here, we're exploring today. So yeah, essentially what this means is that, so the reason why Medaka specifically, well, I think this also works with a lot of shoaling fish, is that they shoal because like shoaling is very beneficial to them. It helps them with gaining food. It gives them a lot more mating opportunities. And you don't go fight someone in a 1v20, if you know what I'm talking about in the pop cultural context. You don't fight 20 people at once. You fight them one by one. But the certain singer has been, rapper, I'm sorry, has been fighting someone. Well, everybody in the community, but that's for a different talk, I suppose. But in this case, oops, apologies. Go in. Yeah, so in this case, because they're breaking away from the shoal, it means there's less food opportunities for them, there's less mating opportunities for them, and there's less protections from predators. Less protection from predators? I guess it's more like less fear. I mean, considering this guy just straight up approaches the predators, right? So it's, yes, there's also the problem with being less protected, but there's also them just straight up walking into the mouth of the predators. And as we know, this is also what we would consider ecological death. And which basically means it's not really dead yet, but you might as well consider it dead because, I mean, why you're willingly walking into like problem, and that's pretty much what it is, And so, in conclusion, I would like to say that first, the impacts of environmental damage, it can be monitored through fish behavior, as we have explained in the examples that I've given before. And behavioral changes may lead to ecological death, but I should have added this, it may also indicate ecological death, as we have discussed earlier. And with this, I would like to kind of bring it back to the point of ecological death as the beginning of the end, essentially. So yeah, that's about it for my talk. In conclusion, environmental damage, bad fish behavior, good. Download our paper for details. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So we have about 10 minutes. Each presenter speaks for about 20 minutes. Then we have 10 minutes of Q&A.
Technically 11 minutes, but semantics.
That's for me to say.
Okay.
And so yeah, if anybody has any questions, please raise your hand and we'll have the mic runner. Okay, go ahead. First question. Hey, keep that going because it goes up. It's supposed to go down.
Sorry.
Thank you very much for the very interesting presentation. I have a little question about the geo picture after and downwards. What is that a swirl lab or just a filled by the microplastics or some other things? I wasn't sure.
Oh, okay. So I didn't really get into that part, but basically, this. Hold on. Let me go back. So this one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not filled with microplastics or anything. I exposed fish to harmful algae. Yeah, harmful algae. So in Japanese, it's akashio. And what happened here is that after being exposed to akashio, this pretty much this image is just a section, sections of the fish gills, and this is the picture that came out of it. And it's not entirely clear as to how it ended up being like this, because it could be that because the harmful algae is very small, like I'm talking 20 micrometers, so it can get up to the fish gills, and it could have done like a contact-based damage. So it touched the gills, and then the gills would have if maybe it has like some sort of chemicals that's causing damage to the gills, or maybe it's just general abrasion, so physical contact that's causing it. And as for now, this for the studies, it's not entirely clear as to what happens to, what's the killing mechanism of this particular harmful algae species that I use. But essentially in my paper here, I'm trying to promote using fish behavior as an early detection mechanism to pretty much detect it while it's going on. And specifically for aquaculture people, if they can find out that, it's happening now, that's when they can start doing preparations to stop further damage. Is that?
Yeah, thank you very much. Because that many times we try to evaluate the environmental deterioration. We specifically measure some point of time, like a nutrients or like a toxicity or whatever it is. But I think that better way to do it is using a bioindicator, such as small fish or like invertebrates, macroinvertebrates and other things. So that's why I was curious about why that was happening, because that was accumulating whatever is affecting you. So thank you very much.
Actually, I will be presenting this in a conference as well. And in that conference, this is not really like a promo or anything, but in the conference, I'm going to be, there's a section entirely for discussing the usage of behavioral studies as a bioindicator. So I think this is a very interesting genre to just study in general. Yeah, thank you for your question. Yeah, I think Sensei has a.
I want more students to ask questions as well.
Yeah, go on.
Great data, great talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I was wondering, with the diazepam data, so one set kind of shows that the medaka are just moving around a lot more.
Yes.
And so could that also be an explanation for why they get faster to the predator? Maybe they're just moving around a lot more.
It is also possible, but yeah, I think for extra details, please read the paper. It's
Okay.
I do have the QR code up, but yeah.
Yes, yeah, because I think, I mean,
It could be just like exploration.
yeah, exactly. So that would have
Yeah.
then nothing to do with boldness.
Yeah, it is also possible, but okay. So
Have you looked at
yeah.
how much time they spend near the predator?
I think there's also like data on that as well in the paper. Although the paper itself is not so much focusing on like this entire fish behavior thing. It's more on using this method as a way to assess the impacts of like exposure, and because it's just a lot more ethical in a way compared to using actual fish. But yeah, I think there might be more information on that in the paper itself. So if you'd be
That's great.
interested, please do give it a read.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, yeah.
I do have a question about
Yeah.
the diazepam in particular.
Yeah.
So what does cause the influx in diazepam in nature? Is it a natural byproduct? Because in the case of the cocaine fish, like
Yeah.
I've read that article,
Yeah.
article to be honest. It was basically because the Brazilians are partying too hard, and then
Wow.
the cocaine is really coming from the sewage, so it comes
Yeah.
to the sea.
Okay.
So is it the influx of diazepam because people are depressed or what?
Okay, that's a very good question actually, because there's a lot of ways that things can come into water. So for example, there's this pesticide called chlorpyrifos, and it's used for apples mostly, and it's a runoff because, as you may know, like when you water your plants and everything, the water flows around. It flows into like bodies of water, it flows into rivers, and then it would flow down into like other bodies of water. So pretty much similar to that, except for diazepam. I think it's more on because it is a medicine. A lot of it is like medical waste, so it could be could happen from medical sewage, or actually I'm not quite sure about the physiological part of this, but the body just secretes it, and then it goes into the sewage. Maybe there's some residues. This is not a part of my expertise, but it is one theory that's how it ended up in the water. So yeah, I mean, it's usually from sewage mostly. So I guess it's kind of similar to how the Brazilians are partying too hard, except you don't really party in the mental ward of the hospital. Or it could be a party depending on how you perceive it.
I think we still got time for a couple more questions.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just having a small discussion with Masaka, and I was wondering, you didn't mention Medaka being a bioindicator. So in the case that it is a bioindicator, in this setting, I'm pretty sure you hatched the Medaka in the laboratory, right?
Yeah.
But in the case that you use it as a bioindicator, does that mean you take the Medaka from the streams and then you put it in the laboratory?
Okay, so that's also a very good question. We do have Medaka that we raise. So we have a stock, and then we take the eggs, and then we raise it. But it has also been a problem with how some of the experiments in our lab were run, because especially for the predator stuff, actually, some of our Medaka wasn't even responding to the predators really, because for most of their life, all they know are just the food, human hand, and net. That's pretty much all they see. And so there were some studies that my laboratory conducted where they did procure wild Medaka. So it wasn't the ones that we were raising, but the ones that were actually in the wild. But I'm not quite sure where they procured it exactly. But they used that for one of these studies, for a more accurate reading, because some of the Medaka that were kept in our room, they didn't know what a predator was. There was no danger in there. except for some of the students not really taking care of the tanks that they have. So yeah, that's actually a very, very good question. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, yeah, if we don't have any more questions, I guess we can close the talk and then move on to the next one. Thank you very much.
Thank you.